The Myford University Podcast, episode 42, Against the Grain. We're going to talk about Mike Rowe, Codie Sanchez, and the Myford University Way. Welcome, colleagues. George Sloan, founder and dean of Myford University. We're going to do another episode today, but we're going to take a slightly different twist. We're going to kind of profile two people I admire. So I've always gone against the grain. It's just how I'm wired. I mean, I don't take things at face value. I don't buy into groupthink, never did. And when I see the herd running in one direction, I kind of instinctively stop and ask, is this the best path or just the most crowded one? I'm sure some of you understand exactly what I'm talking about, probably identify with it. So that mindset has basically shaped the way I look at education and work. You know, for decades, the default answer has been go to college, spend 4 years, rack up the debt, and hope the degree pays off. You know, and then after that, it was like, oh, well, go get an MBA. And you know what? I have to admit, I did these things. But I wouldn't do them again today, and I've actually done an episode on that. You can find it on myforduniversity.com if I had it to do again. But again, getting back to it, you know, the situation now, when I look at this model today, it feels like an unwinnable game. And the costs are insane. The timeline is too long, and the return on investment is shaky at best. So you're probably sitting going, you know, so what do I do now? Well, you're not wrong to ask that question. I mean, do you just accept the broken system, or do you go against the grain? And honestly, as you probably guess, I'm a proponent of going against the grain. So today, I want to talk to you about two people who've done just that, Mike Rowe and Codie Sanchez. You know, they've reached and built very powerful alternatives to traditional paths of education and careers. And, you know, I want to share with you then how Myford University can fit alongside of them as a complementary option for anyone who wants knowledge and skills that they can apply fast. You know, I respect and admire their approaches, and I've got my own approach. And again, they don't really compete against each other. They, in many ways, they complement each other. So let's start with Mike Rowe. Most people know him from Dirty Jobs, you know, where he rolled up his sleeves and he did everything from sewer cleaning to sheep farming. You know, the show was entertaining, but it carried a deeper message. The jobs no one wanted to talk about are the jobs that make everything else possible. Think about that for a second. You kind of don't see them. They're in the background, but without them, boy, you'd notice it real fast. And what Mike Rowe noticed was something was important, and society has been busy pushing every kid towards college. The skilled trades, the plumbers, the electricians, the welders, the HVAC tech, were all desperate for workers, and the jobs were available, and the wages were good, but the pipeline was running dry. And he caught on to that. And instead of just pointing it out, you know, the guy did something that's very admirable. He acted. You know, through his Mike Rowe Works Foundation, you know, he's handed out millions of dollars in scholarships. He built training programs. He created the SWEAT, Sweat Pledge, which stands for Skill and Work Ethic Aren't Taboo. You know, it's a commitment to a personal responsibility and pride in your work. And if you want to get a scholarship, you just have to fill out, you know, you don't have to fill out a form. You just have to make a video, sign a pledge, and prove that you're serious. I mean, the guy is actually, you know, doing it in the field. And a side note, you know, I'm a project manager. I deal with, you know, logistics, and I deal with process improvement, and I deal with tech and digital and everything. But big part of what I do is construction management. And I'll tell you, what I see day to day, all these contractors, these skilled tradespeople, they're all getting, you know, gray hair. They're graying out. And quite frankly, we have a problem if we don't get, you know, people in there to pick up the tools and do the job. So what I love about Mike Rowe's approach is that, it's all about proof over paper, which sounds familiar because I say the same thing. He's saying, don't just sit in a classroom, learn something valuable, apply it, and show you can deliver. And that is music to my ears, folks. I love that. Now, I'll be the first to admit the trades aren't for everyone. Some jobs are just physically demanding, and some people, just don't have the ability to do it. Some are tied, to where the projects are located. You have to live near where the work is. But compared to spending 4 years in lecture halls and coming out with debt and no guarantee of a job, learning a trade is a clear, practical path. And it's not going to go away anytime real soon, right? Think about it. So now let's talk about Codie Sanchez. While Mike Rowe shines the light on trades, Codie Sanchez is all about buying what she calls boring businesses. Not tech startups, not flashy unicorns. Think about laundromats, car washes, vending routes, HVAC companies, businesses that don't get headlines but generate steady, reliable cash flow. She's really onto something here too. These things aren't sexy, people. They're everyday, mundane, boring businesses. But the only thing that's not boring about them is they're tried and true. They're going to generate cash flow, and there's a big problem out there. A lot of the people that own them can't get rid of them because their kids don't want to take over. So they're looking for people who are willing to buy their businesses and might get creative. I'm telling you, there's really something to this. Her logic is really simple. Why start from zero, burning through your savings and investors' money when you could buy a business that already works? One that already has customers, that has revenue, that has a staff. I mean, it's almost turnkey, all right? So through her contrarian thinking platform, Sanchez is teaching exactly how to do it. She breaks down the deal structures, the seller financing, the SBA or Small Business Administration loans, and ways to source the businesses from retiring owners who don't have a succession plan. I was just mentioning that. She shows people how to evaluate the cash flow, improve the operations, and grow these businesses over time. And here's what I really appreciate about her message. It's brutally realistic. Buying a business is not passive income. It's not set it and forget it. You actually have to operate it. You need to fix the systems. You need to lead people. But if you're willing to do the work, the payoff can be immediate. You can replace your salary with cash flow on day one. I would also say that, parents of college students, you might want to think about, instead of blowing all the money on college, get an established business, and get your son or daughter into it, because it's going to, provide results without crushing you. And the thing that nobody seems to mention, but I was an MBA finance grad. It has a business, unlike a college degree, a business has a terminal value. And if you don't know what terminal value is, it means at the end of it, when you're done working, you can sell it. It has a value. You can't sell your college degree. Be nice, but you can't. You sell it during your career, but once you're done, you can't just sell it to somebody else. But if you buy a boring business like Codie Sanchez talks about, it has a terminal value that you can turn around and sell. So not only did you make a nice income over the course of your career running the business or businesses, but it can be sold. It has a terminal value. All right. And, here's why I give Codie Sanchez a little more weight in this conversation. Her opportunity is right now. A huge wave of business owners is hitting retirement age, and they don't have heirs or exit plans. That means millions of viable businesses are going to change hands. And if younger people don't step up to buy them, many of them may simply close. And Codie Sanchez is an example and shining a spotlight on these overlooked opportunities that are hiding right in plain sight. I would say that the ROI on buying a business probably exceeds the ROI on most college degrees these days. So when I step back and I look at Mike Rowe and Codie Sanchez, I see two sides of the same coin. Rowe says you don't need college, learn a trade, work with your hands, and earn while you learn. Love that. Sanchez says you don't need college, buy a business, work with your head, and step into ownership now. Love that. One of them is labor first, the other is ownership first. Both are rejecting the idea that you need years of expensive schooling before you can contribute to the real economy. Agreed. That's exactly how I feel. And it's exactly why I put Myford University together, because I believe going to college is not, or going to even get an MBA is not the right thing to do. At this point in time, things have changed. Things are going to change even more. I've said it before. We're in a highly dynamic situation, not a static one. What worked for your grandfather and for your father won't work for you in the same way, more than likely. Okay, I got to put the caveat in there. So let me shift a little bit. I'm going to self promote a little. You know, Myford University is not about swinging a hammer or buying a car wash. What we do is provide the complementary piece, rapid knowledge acquisition and immediate application. I've often said the knowledge and skills applied in a business environment is better than an MBA program because it's real. Our motto here, you hear me say it all the time, is to learn fast and apply it faster. That means we strip away the fluff of higher education and we focus on essential business skills, finance, strategy, marketing, project management. Instead of memorizing theory, you produce deliverables, a financial model, a marketing plan, a business case. We believe in proof, not paper. I've said it before, a motivated 12-year-old could learn the concepts, the models, the frameworks, the processes, and apply them. They might not understand fully the significance, but they would get the concept and they could apply it immediately. And so can you. So for the tradesperson, the knowledge that we have means that you don't just stay on the tools, you eventually run the shop. For the boring business buyer, it means you professionalize the operations, measure KPIs, and scale with the systems. It also means for anyone stuck between the paths, you get to act faster, smarter, and with more leverage. We're not competing with Rowe or Sanchez. We are complementing them. And together, these approaches form a powerful ecosystem of alternatives that make traditional college and MBA or even a PhD look slow, overpriced, and outdated. I highly recommend you check these folks out. And I'll say it now, I would love to interview both of them, either individually or together. I think there's quite a conversation that could be had. So, look, none of these paths are actually perfect. The trades can be tough, businesses can be risky, and knowledge can go to waste if you don't apply it. But compare them to the old path: 4 years, crushing debt, and uncertain outcomes. And the alternatives look not only better, but smarter. Used to be smart to go to college. Now, questionable. Could be dumb because the ROI stinks, the debt is crazy, and you don't know what you're going to get when you come out. Most people don't even use their degrees that they studied, the majors that they studied in when they come out. It's crazy. So for me, getting back to my original point, going against the grain has never been just about being rebellious. Okay? I also did an article on nonconformity. Not about being a rebel, it's about not following the lemmings off the cliff. So it's really about being rational. It's about looking at the world as it is and asking what actually works. What's the best path? Not what everyone else says. You need to do some critical thinking and make the decision. Mike Rowe shows us the power of the trades. Codie Sanchez shows us the opportunity in boring businesses. And here at Myford University, we're going to show you the tools to accelerate your knowledge and apply it immediately for real world results that have positive outcomes. So here is the question I will leave you with: which path will you choose? I want to thank everyone for listening. If you want to learn more about the alternatives to the traditional path and want to learn how to apply knowledge fast, check out myforduniversity.com. Remember, it's not about the paper, it's about the proof. I want to thank you for listening. And again, learn it fast and apply it faster. Thank you.